Hey guys, welcome to Lovecast, the BL podcast reviews. This month we're jumping into the world of GLs and reviewing a bit of an older series. Still Taiwanese though, so we're looking at the Taiwanese web GL series Dear Uranus this month. I'm your host Alexa, and I have Pixie and Heather with me today.
Hey.
Hey.
Woohoo, hello. So the synopsis of Dear Uranus is like less of a synopsis and more of a quote, but I'll read it anyways. So it says, "Do you still remember when we were 17, blushing faces, racing heartbeats for the first time, and meeting the person that we like? Would you take the initiative or watch in silence?" So to give like a bit of an actual synopsis, it's a love triangle story. It's centered around the main character who is a very talented taekwondo artist, and two people who are into her. One of them is more of like the shy, hard to express her feelings type character, and the other one is a character who takes more initiative but has a bit of like a different reasoning.
Trauma in the
Yeah.
past.
It's like a
Yeah.
different reasoning for being into her.
Mhm.
So episode count, length, and where to watch. So it's a very short little web series. It's 3 episodes, about 10 to 12 minutes each. And you can watch it right on YouTube with hard English subtitles on the YouTube video on the Rabbit and Wolf YouTube channel. So Rabbit and Wolf were the creators, producers, directors of the series, and they are pretty well known like sapphic couple in
Mhm.
Taiwan. I think they're kind of influencers. Right now they're doing a little bit more of like the family vlogging type of content because they just recently had a baby together. But at the time they were kind of like a relationship lesbian YouTube channel, and they got a lot of popularity in Taiwan for that. And then they created the web series directly from their YouTube
Mhm.
channel. So yeah,
Yeah.
and they're also both in the show. So
Yeah.
they show up in the show and have like little roles there, which is cute as well.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, getting into
Yeah.
thoughts about the show. Short, sweet, cute. Who wants to start it off?
I think like you get a lot of things happening in a very short time, but it doesn't feel like it it's it doesn't feel like it's wrong pacing. I mean, it's very simplified, the plot.
Yeah.
The romance is the plot. Like there is not like she has some issues with her parents, the Ning,
Yeah, Ning's
about them
character.
wanting her to do the taekwondo, and she doesn't really know what she wants to do. Am I remembering right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, like that's the only, like, that's a little bit of a subplot, but like the plot of the whole thing is just her relationship
Mm.
towards um Xing and Ying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it works. I remember watching it 3 years ago, and I was just like, this is cute and aggressive at the same time,
Mhm.
and I kind of love that.
Mhm.
So I was obsessed, especially about like the main character, her actor Errol. I'm obsessed with her, like
Yeah.
genuinely so obsessed. Like if I was gonna be gay, like I would be gay for Errol. It should have, like, 3 years ago. I did not know about my asexuality and everything. Like it should have been the like pointing light because oh, I love that woman.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right that like the plot is literally just the love triangle. So I will say like rewatching it now, like because I rewatched it this morning since I was saying like I haven't watched it since 3 years ago when we first watched it. It did feel like a bit choppy, but I'm also like taking into account that it's a 3 episode show with 10 minutes, so there's only so much that they can do to elaborate on like characters and plot and stuff that's going on. And like they did try and fit a lot in there, and a part of me thinks
Mhm.
that like they could have done with almost scaling it back a little bit to make it fit for the 3 12-minute episode time frame. Um,
Mm.
like I will say I did really really enjoy like the love triangle, and I thought it was fun to watch kind of like the two characters and their different approaches. Um,
Mm.
but I was like, at times I was like, you just kind of get thrown in. Like there's no real
Mm.
backstory. So
No.
like when you go in watching, I was like, oh, I was like remembering like, oh yeah, we're just like right in it. And it's just like jumping
Yeah.
from like this character's in love with her and now this character's in love with her. But this character has like an ex-girlfriend who is actually reminds her of the main character, and that's why she's in love with her.
Hmm.
So I think it felt like for me watching it again, it was like jumping around a little bit, more than I remember the first time I watched it, but I still enjoyed it and thought it was like a
Hmm.
cute little short 30-minute watch for what it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, agreed. I even though like the promo cover photo whatever has three people on it, I actually when I was watching it last night was going into it not realizing it was a love triangle.
Mm,
So when it all started, I was and I think that this probably did it for the best. Like it actually made me enjoy it a bit more because
Hmm.
as I was going through, I didn't actually realize where this story was
mm-hmm,
going,
mm-hmm.
because I didn't realize that it was a love triangle. And so I was seeing like the two friends and I was like, "Oh, that's going to be like a cute little like friend
Like
crushing
secondary,
on
yeah.
like
Hmm.
secondary sort of thing, friend crushing on friend." And then the main romance is going to be like this like taekwondo like
Mm-hmm.
mask type of character and this like really cute little shy
She was so
sweet
cute.
character, like so
Yeah,
cute,
she
reminds
is.
me of Nat from
That's what I
Demundi.
was thinking. Oh my God. The whole time I
That
watched the
is
first
true.
episode
I
and I was
agree.
like,
I agree.
who does she look like? And then I put it together that, oh,
Nat
but she
from
looks like
Demundi, yeah,
Nat.
it's the
That is
pout, it
true.
was the
Mm-hmm.
way
They have
that
like
she
the
was doing this
same
really
mouth
cute little
shape.
like
Mm-hmm.
pout was the cutest thing.
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, so I thought that that's where we were heading.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually pleasant, like I love a love triangle. So I
Mhm.
was really pleasantly surprised that that's kind of where we headed. In terms of feeling a little bit choppy, I did feel like it was a little bit choppy,
Mm-hmm.
just in the point where dropping us into the action, yes, do that, but then the way that certain choices, so like deciding to give Ning a little bit more of a backstory with her relationship with her parents and her relationship with Taekwondo and how she feels about
Mhm.
that, I felt like we didn't need that because it
Mhm.
didn't
Mm-hmm.
play into any like the way that she was connecting with the other two girls and like how
Yeah.
she why who like it didn't play into who she would potentially choose at the end,
Mm-hmm.
which also I didn't realize that that's where we were going to end this
Yeah.
little mini series, and I was like, wait, what?
I know. It was such a shock the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like, okay, open ending much?
right. And so then I was like, so like this, I felt like they could have potentially used some of that energy in fleshing that out with Ning to actually kind of flesh out like a little bit of the before story.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it Jing who is the
Jing
cute
is
one?
the cutesy
Jing?
one, yeah.
Yeah. So like how she developed her feelings
Mm-hmm.
because they're obviously friends or like they know each other at the
Mhm.
beginning. It's not that Ning just came and saved Jing right away. Like they're in the same class together, and so
Mhm.
they definitely know each other. So just something there would have been nice. And
Yeah.
then I
Mhm.
guess we just kind of understood that Xing's crush on Ning, so the girl with the blue in her hair,
Mm-hmm.
kind of developed because of her resemblance with her ex-girlfriend. We got
Mhm.
that. That was pretty much, I bought that. And I bought that she was an aggressive type of pursuing type of
Mm-hmm.
person. But there was just something with like Ning and Jing's or Jing's crush on Ning that I just needed that little bit more of the before. And I felt
I
like they could have
agree.
just taken out the whole family parental taekwondo thing with Ning
Yeah.
and put it with
Mhm.
Jing.
Yeah, I think
developing
like
that.
Ching kind of is like the character who has the least amount of any actual character traits outside of her like liking Ning and not being able to really have the courage to express that. Because like with
Mm.
Jing, we do get the whole backstory of like her ex who cheated on her, who she's not over, and she
Mm.
like Ning resembles or has similar habits to her, so that's why she falls for her. And like with Ning, we get the little bit of like build up of like she doesn't like taekwondo, she's bored of it, but her dad wants her to do it, so like that gives her a little bit
Yeah.
of character, kind of explains her like aloofness a little bit. But I feel like with Ching, she doesn't really have anything going on outside of having a crush on Ning. And
Yeah.
so like she's very cute and she's very shy, but like there was nothing really else to her character. And so like it almost kind of felt like in the grand scheme of like the love triangle of things, like she was the secondary character because she didn't really have
Yeah.
anything going on, and they didn't even really like, I mean, we knew she had a crush, but they didn't really even show them together, like spending time together until the third episode. So it felt like she was kind of like, it was a little bit unbalanced in the love triangle, but I
Yeah.
do will say I think they did a good job of like keeping you going till the end of not knowing where it
Mm.
would go. Like by the end of the
Yeah.
third episode, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure Ning likes Ching, and like they're on this little date. They slept over together, and then Jing comes in, and she's like, actually, who will I choose? You know, she had really good chemistry with both of them, and
Mm.
very different chemistry, kind of showcasing the two different characters that both of her pursuers were meant to be. But
Mm.
I
yeah,
will say Ching, when she first like gets up the courage to approach Ning in a more like romantic way, dude, she has like she really goes for it. Like you
yeah,
can see the shift
the
in
whole
her.
romantic necklace and the meaning
My
behind it, and like
God.
I
And
was like,
Mm-hmm.
staying
she
over at her
she took the
house,
initiative.
wearing
She was
her
like, I'm, yeah.
clothes, like
Yeah.
blowing on her face to make her wake up.
She was
So
like, I saw
cute.
my chance and I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
She's all
Yes.
out.
Ning has shown some interest in me. I am just going like full speed
Full
ahead.
speed ahead. We are going to
Yeah.
take that and run.
Mhm.
But also like that's so true. These sapphic relationships.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like me? You actually like me? All right, sweet, we're doing this.
Sleep over on the
Yes.
first date. We're going full in. We'll be moving in together
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
date lasted 48 hours. Yep,
I mean,
that that
you can
tracks.
see that this show was written by a lesbian.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
I think and they did a good job of showcasing like different types of sapphic characters because I think,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of now, a lot of GL that is very much like hyper femme sapphics,
Mhm.
but in the
Yeah.
show we had a more mask sapphic character
Mhm.
as the main character, is the one who is being
Mhm.
pursued. And then we have
More
Ching, who's
fun.
kind of like the more cutesy, like small, dainty
Mhm.
one, and Jing, who's like kind of sits somewhere almost in the middle, but like she's very confident in her feelings. And then we
Mhm.
have her friend who like I love, like in the first episode she had her little pride shirt on underneath of her school
Yep.
uniform.
Did you peep all of the rainbows in the each episode?
Yes. I remember the one on her shirt, and I remember the one in Ning's bedroom in the third episode. That
Yeah.
was like the Taiwan, and it was pride colors.
Yeah, yeah, and the feather, and then there's also there's another rainbow in the background somewhere in the second episode. I can't
Oh,
remember exactly where,
I
but I
missed
remember
that
seeing
one.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I
I
remember
like
seeing it
that.
and being like, that's so cute. They're like hiding little rainbows
I
in
like
each
stuff like
episode.
that. I love little Easter eggs like
Same.
that. But
Same.
yeah, yeah, all that to say, like, I think they did a good job of showing different types of like sapphic characters,
Yeah.
different types of appearances. There's a lot of variety in the characters that appeared in the
Yeah.
show, even though literally,
Yeah.
it's nice because like we always get these BLs that are like all men and maybe like one girl, but this show is literally just all not a
Women.
man
Did
in
not peep a
sight,
Not a
man at
aside
all.
from the students in the background that were like extras. I was like, this is great.
Even that, like, I was so focused on the girls and the action in
Yeah.
the front that I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
think to look in
Didn't
the
even
back. And
notice.
In the
like,
Yeah.
background.
I
Yeah.
do look into the back of scenes a lot, so
Mm-hmm.
they completely didn't pull my focus, which I loved.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, but yeah, I
Yeah,
like
and
that aspect of it.
yeah, I really liked so even though it was only 30 minutes and like to write a story that fits into a very short period of time, like when you're filming it, that is really hard. And
Heather
dialogue,
has
I find,
experience with that.
yeah.
Creating a show
um
that you need to fit in a very short period of time.
yeah.
Um.
At,
Yeah. No, just finish your thought.
oh, okay. And dialogue can be really hard to keep sounding natural, feeling
Mm-hmm.
natural, making sure it keeps driving forward. It's not still like stilting anything. It's not cutting any scenes off or anything like that. And I felt like they actually did a really good job
Mm-hmm.
in this little mini series to keep the dialogue going and
Yeah,
making sure it fit and making sure everything that was said had purpose, but it
I
didn't
agree.
feel like it was forced to have purpose.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I was just gonna mention like the director of this show directed History 3 and
Which
Love
one?
is Science and About Youth.
History
I do
3
remember
Trapped or Make Our Days Count or both?
Make Our Days Count.
So she definitely did the Make Our Days Count special.
She did Make Our
Um,
Days Count. The
Yeah.
show says Make Our Days Count, or her my drama list.
yeah, it's weird how they. I think
Oh,
it's she did
it's
direct
because
the
Make Our Days
shows.
Count is listed under my drama list as a special instead of a regular
I get
drama
it.
since it's like in a
Yeah,
anthology.
yeah. She also did Crossing the Line.
Crossing the line. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, there
so
you go. That's why
but
it
you
felt
can
good.
kind of see it in the like I want to say like the aesthetic of the show. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's giving History 3, right? Like just to feel like the how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's shot, yeah.
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 Yeah, I can see how it would be the same director, definitely. And
It
like
was
even the oh yeah.
I was just gonna say the production value was really good for like a little YouTube special show.
Yeah.
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 And like even the so for a little like YouTube mini series, they did the is it the AR? The recording after the fact?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They definitely there was like one or two scenes where it was original recording, audio recording. But everything else was recorded after the fact. And so it was
Mm-hmm.
really crisp and clear. And if you're not used to that, it's a little bit odd.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like because I'm used to that, I didn't mind it at all. I actually liked that they did do that because then you could hear what was going on. You didn't miss stuff and it didn't distract. So like sometimes when that audio is really bad, it fully distracts from
Yeah.
the series, like the story and the characters and what's happening on screen. And I feel like because they did that, I wasn't distracted by it at all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
Yeah.
like that the audio quality was pretty good and you could tell that like they put in like you said the effort to go in and do like the dubbing afterwards and like they even went as far as like they released official OSTs for like the
Hmm.
instrumental for the show like
Oh.
they really put like a lot into it and I know when we interviewed Rabbit and Wolf back in 2021 in the
Yeah.
first season of the show and they talked a lot about how they put a lot into this because they wanted it to get picked up and expand into like
Mm.
obviously it ended on very much of a cliffhanger of like who literally
Yeah.
it said like who should I choose so the
Yeah.
idea was like going all out on this so that hopefully like it would get picked up
Picked
with
up,
sponsors to be able to
Mm.
expand on it and of course
which
um
obviously
that
didn't
didn't
happen.
happen, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate, but like for what it was, they put so much effort into it, and I think that
Hmm.
makes it really enjoyable to watch despite it being such a small, short little series.
Do you think it didn't happen because they were sort of ahead of their time? Like the GLs being made just started, like the little GL boom.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was thinking like we still don't really have any Taiwanese GLs.
Mm,
Like, Korea does a lot of Korean GL web dramas. We're obviously seeing a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
like GLs from Thailand now, and even
Mm,
the Philippines has done a couple of GLs as well. But there's really not a lot of GL content that I can think of that I've heard about at least that has come out of
mm,
Taiwan yet.
mm,
So this coming out in 2021, I feel like was definitely ahead of the curve. And I don't know if that very well could have been an influence for why people didn't
mm.
or
I
sponsors didn't pick it
Yeah.
up.
think it also potentially was timing as well, because
Mm,
coming out in 2021 and COVID and everything happening, like
true.
Mhm.
for all of the buzz to be around it, you'd think that someone would pick it up and do something right away. They're not going to pick it up and do something in a couple of years' time. And
Hmm,
so I
yeah.
think that the timing really hurt them, unfortunately,
Mhm.
because they probably, I'm not sure if they said this in the interview or not, but like, I'm sure it would have taken them quite a while to get everything like filmed and edited. And so, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't that it was filmed and dropped in like 2021, unless it like was at the
Mhm.
beginning of the year and then dropped at the end. Like, it would have
Mhm.
been like at the very least a 12-month project before it was dropped,
Yeah.
like from creation to completion.
Mhm.
um so yeah, I think it was just really unfortunate timing that hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely probably factored in as well. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also
But
like I was gonna say shortly after that they started going on their fertility journey and like focusing on
yeah.
having a family. So
Yeah.
I can
That
understand
takes
why
a
they would
lot
put
of, yeah.
media creation on the back burner. And like that was like, I mean, they started pretty soon after, like maybe early 2022 and like
Mhm.
or
Mm,
late 2021, and like they just had their
Yeah.
baby last year. So like that was obviously a long journey for them as well. And I'm
Mhm.
sure it became like the focus of all of their time in their life.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, like once that window
Definitely.
passes, there's only so much you can do to try and
Yeah.
get back into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. But I do think like the legacy of the show, like it will, people still watch it. People still talk about it.
mm,
If you look at my drama list or anywhere, like people still watch it and
yeah,
still
it
love
stands
it.
on its
So,
own. Like,
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
it does. So even though it ends with the cliffhanger,
Mhm.
it still stands on its own. It's still worth watching, even if you know the cliffhanger, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you
I,
know go in knowing everything about it, it's
yeah.
still a good watch.
Good rewatch value. I will
Yeah.
say that I think it was really smart of them to do that last scene where you actually see her together with both characters and do the
To
whole
see
Mm-hmm.
what the
who is she
relationship
gonna
could
choose,
be.
like,
Yeah.
because it does give you more of a closure than it would have just stopped and just
Oh,
like,
that final
okay,
shot.
who's she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very choose your own adventure like book,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love that, actually. Like, I love that so much. I used to read those books all the time growing up.
Mm.
And so, like, choose your adventure is, I don't know, like a little, it hits my little nostalgia like
Mm.
Yeah.
button inside me somewhere. Um so I thought it was really good. I also really liked that the who should I choose became like this big fourth wall break where
Mm-hmm.
Ning looks like directly down the camera, and it's very much who should I choose, like
Yeah.
asking the audience. I really loved that. I thought that was a really cute and cool device to use in this little
Yeah.
mini series. Yeah.
Yeah. And like even in that like final shot where it was like kind of split screening both of the potential couples, like
Yeah.
they both had the
And then
moment where
everyone
they
looking,
turned
yeah.
toward the screen where they were like, oh, to like be on our team kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
like they were campaigning for the audience to fall
Yeah.
into their ship kind of thing, which was
Yeah.
really fun.
I thought
Fun
that
way
was
to.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Any any final thoughts? Anything anyone wants to touch on before we give ratings?
I just think it's fun how they, because either Rabbit or Wolf were the screenwriter for it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really fun how they incorporated like the real life of the actor in it. Like with Errol, she is an actual Taekwondo
Mm-hmm.
champion,
Mm,
and I think that's really fun. Like how they just like took actual things and like actual emotions from Errol's probably stuff she's gone through, and just put it in
put
there.
it
I
in.
think it's a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it also probably makes it feel more natural for her as a actor too, or an actress, kind of getting into that role and being able to tap into emotions that she, I'm sure, has felt around
Mm.
taekwondo in the past, especially with that being like her first and only real acting thing that she's done. um
Yeah.
so I'm sure it's kind of like, okay, I'm playing a character that to some degree I can see myself in, versus jumping into the deep end playing like someone super out there from your own, sense of self that you have.
Yeah.
But you could also tell like the taekwondo that they did show, like you could tell that she actually like knew what she was doing.
Yeah, yeah.
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 I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, but the Rabbit and Wolf cameos. I don't think,
Yeah,
have we
yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
it
Y- y-
properly?
I mentioned
Yeah.
briefly
A
at the
little
beginning
bit
that they
more than
both.
a
Okay.
cameo, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. I say cameo. I mean, like, they
One,
literally were characters in this show.
literally.
the one was more of a cameo because she just kind of showed up at
Yeah,
the
true.
beginning and was
She's a
like
mean
walking around
girl.
being popular,
Yeah.
and then that was like her
Showing up.
role.
Yeah. I was
But
like, so going into this because I didn't know fully what was going on, because like I literally just dove in. I was like,
mhm.
oh, she's cute. Okay, cool. All right, we're following her character.
Yeah.
She's this like funny little thing,
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
like thing person who thinks that she knows everything, whatever.
Mhm.
Thinks she's the king shit. Um, and she falls and she goes up and she's going to go up those stairs and it's going to be like a love hate, like it's going to
Yeah.
be like tension.
Hmm.
No, no,
No,
she was just this
no.
cool
She was
little
just,
cameo that then yeah.
yeah, they were like, we need to make sure she shows up at one point. Um
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
like, yeah, Wolf was more of an actual role because she was um
Yeah.
Jing's friend who was kind of
Yes.
there
Crushing
supporting.
a little bit, but not. I was yeah.
There
So
was
did
an
that
interesting vibe there.
that's what yeah, I was
Hmm.
like that's why I thought it was going to be like this second couple thing because I was like
Mhm.
there's such this interesting vibe. There's like this I feel like it's a crush. There was a crush going on more than like a I'm concerned for my friend because I can see the pattern of behavior starting again.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh, is this going to be a crush?" But again, I liked that I had no idea what was going on. Like
Hmm.
and that I couldn't guess who was going to be with who and
Yeah.
yeah, I loved that.
It's a cute little fun little series to go into blind and just kind of see where it takes you.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's actually something we should have said right at the beginning. If anyone's checking out this review to see if they want to watch it or not, watch it,
Go
but
watch
go
it.
in blind.
I mean, like,
Stop watching. Put this at the beginning. Stop watching this. Go watch it. It's 30 minutes, and come back and watch this.
come back.
Yes, please come back.
Please come back. But yeah. So what would we give it out of 5 for the rating?
I mean, for me, like, despite, like, if you're gonna get technical about it, then the rating is gonna be a little lower. But because I enjoyed it, and
Mm-hmm.
I really like watching it over again. Is fun to watch, and I love the characters. I just enjoy the variety of everything. So I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's where I'm at as well. A 4 out of 5 because I'm kind of viewing it from like a mini series perspective. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not putting it up against like the BLs and GLs from massive production companies that are like 12 episodes long. I'm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about it from like yeah, a mini series that someone was
Mm.
able to produce themselves and
Yeah.
Hmm.
knowing all the challenges that go into that. I'm
Yeah.
like solid 4. Solid 4.
Mhm.
It was really well
Mhm.
done.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of sitting at like a 3.5, 3.75, because like I do agree I'm very much viewing it from the point of like it's a small series and they did really well with everything that they were given to execute the series. But you know, like I said at the beginning, going back, I was a little bit more aware of like, and maybe it's because it was my second time watching it that I just like kind of picked up on things a little bit more than I did the first time around, that felt a little bit choppy to me, like, you know, jumped around a bit. But overall,
Mm.
I would still like, it's such a quick and fun little easy watch. Like it's 30
Mhm.
minutes out of your time. Like I would 100% recommend that it's something you sit down and watch just for the experience and
Yeah.
enjoying the enjoyment of watching it. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would sit at like 3.75 for my final rating.
Nice.
All right. Well, that is it for this month's review. So be sure to let us know what you guys thought about Dear Uranus down in the comments, if whether you're watching this on Patreon or YouTube or over on our social media in the Discord. We're always hanging out in those places chatting. So come share your thoughts with us. And friendly reminder that all of our reviews, minus this one, because we just kind of really wanted to do it and get it on the up on the Patreon. But other than this, all of our reviews are voted on by our patrons, and they get access to them a month before they go out to the general public on YouTube. So if you are interested in choosing which series we review next, consider joining our Lovecaster Patreon family. It's also a great way to support the podcast. So I love seeing you guys over there as well. But yeah, thank you for tuning in to this month's review, and we will see you guys in another one soon. Bye bye.